Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Just making sure everything is properly running here. I can see any comments that might be coming through. Please drop any comments or thoughts in the chat here, and I'll try and answer your questions as best as I can. But today is a sort of a little bit of a different live sketch today. We're going to be just going through the new features that have just been released in Gravity Sketch, and so you all will find that there's a new update, and you'll be able to access all of this. So we're just going to run through it and try and make a little something, and just show you all around. Just want to quickly thank everybody in the community that's just supported us this far, and the team has been really working hard to get these features fine-tuned and get them out in a timely manner for you all. So yeah, just want to thank you very much, and let's just get started. Let's get into it. Let's see here. First thing I want to say right off the bat, so I'm using my account here. You'll see co-creation off to the right, but that is not available for individual users. Just want to be clear. Currently it's reserved for educational institutions and for businesses at this time. We one day we do desire to actually bring this function to the rest of the community, but there's just a lot of other things, a lot of other features and functions that we have planned out, and so that is our goal one day. We don't really have a date on that at this time, but let's see. I just want to put that out as a disclaimer because I know people are going to be seeing co-creation over here off to the right. That's not part of the update. It's just the account that I'm using. But everything else here is what you'll see. So let's just get right into it. So as you'll see, the lobby looks a little bit different. And the way it's laid out is it basically allows you to access things in a much more direct way. It's less cluttered. It's a lot cleaner. Also, we have a little pop-up here just showing all the different features that we've added recently. But one of the things you'll notice that it's pretty much the same things that you've had before, just laid out differently. But there is quite a new way of navigating through the files, which is the file manager here, as well as some new sketches added in the gallery. Now you notice there's some switches up here. One VR and one iPad. So basically, if I turn off VR, these are all the models that are available for iPad only, they're available in VR as well. But then the rest are available on VR and not on iPad. And so we've added a lot more models from the community, and some that have been made internally in here for you all to start working with. If you want to start with something instead of just sketching in a blank space, a lot of these will get you started, whether you want to start with a vehicle, shoe, or just see how something was made. So we've got a lot of great examples in here. If I want to get out of this menu, I just press the back button, and that will take me right out of here. And then of course we have new sketch, and we know what all that does. We have our recent sketches, not much different there. If we go over here to settings, we'll see that we can choose different languages, as well as turn off or on our haptics, our right and left controller preferences. And then if you are in co-creation, if your institution is supporting co-creation, or if you're with a business and using co-creation, this is where you will access your different organizations here. And so I'm just going to back out here. If we jump right in here into the file manager, this is probably one of the biggest updates to the lobby. And essentially how it's broken down is we have landing pad files off to the right and our local files off to the we have our landing pad files off to the left and our local files off to the right here. And basically, it's just a real clear representation of what file is where. And we also have different filters here in the center to zero in on what kinds of files you might be looking for. So, if we're just looking for folders, we can turn the folder on and have everything else turned off, and so on and so forth. So we can just really filter that down. Another interesting tool that we've added is the clipboard. And basically what this allows you to do, this is kind of like your copy and paste function. So essentially you can take any amount of sketches that you'd like. So I can grab these. Let's just say we want to grab these two files here. We can also use this slider down here to navigate through the folders or through the files here. And we can also use our joystick as well to cycle through these. And so essentially what we need to do is, and I need to grab these again because I didn't actually, let's see here, grab this. So if you place them in the clipboard, we can actually move to, we can create a new folder and we can name it New Stuff. And we will go to New Stuff, and then we can grab both of these files and place them in this folder, and now they are in this New Stuff folder. What's really great is we can actually press the back button and leave out of that menu, and we can grab this New Stuff folder and we can place it in Landing Pad. And so the cool thing is once you log into Landing Pad on your web browser, you will see that folder there, and you can see your model in 3D. You can turntable it if you are moving on to another device, switching to another VR headset, and if you log in as your Landing Pad credentials, you will be able to have access to obviously all the folders in your Landing Pad account. So it's just a really intuitive and simple way to transfer files from your local device to Landing Pad. Other things, so you can actually navigate using these arrows as well. So there's many ways you can use the joystick, slider, arrows. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. And then everything else is pretty much the same as far as like the files, and you have your orgs and things like that for your co-creation. Again, you can also access your orgs here in the center column as well. And that just about finishes the wraps up the lobby. So we're going to just start a new sketch, and I'm going to actually change my environment. And so I'm just going to run through some of the things. So first thing I want to touch on here is before you had to enable the tool belt in the lobby or go on Landing Pad and enable it. Now all you have to do is go up to the star, which is indicated with the word beta here. And this basically just gives you beta features that you can turn off and on at any time. So all you need to do if you need to use the tool belt is just turn on this switch, and then you'll immediately have access to tool belt features. If any of you aren't familiar with the tool belt, the function for that is just grabbing with your grab trigger and swiping left, swiping right, and this brings up your tool belt. We can go through some of these if you like. There is an update to this tool, so we'll be going through that. But let me just double check any questions before I get into some more stuff here. Let's see, can you offer to download and store the tutorial videos on the Quest app? Laggy Wi-Fi. We can certainly talk with that. Talk about that with the product team. I think we would like to do that for sure. There might be an issue of the heaviness of the files, and having that playing in VR on the Quest, but I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. Can you customize your tool belt? So let's see. Basically, the tool belt is just these array of tools right here. The tools in your tool belt are fixed, so there's not really any customization. They're always in this layout, and always in this order. There's not really any tools you bring in here. But that is a really, really interesting concept, and I think something we've talked about internally where you can have your own customized sort of tool belt, basically, where you take your most used tools or something, and you can have them pop up all right in front of you. Say it's a menu, and then you have all of your tools right here that you typically use right there. So that's definitely one thing that could be implemented in the future for sure. And let us know if that's something that you all would like. We'll check something here. Let's see. So moving right along here. Let's just start sketching something. Today is more about the new features, so we're just going to go with that. But maybe I'll open up this form that I'm starting on. The mirror off. So let's just dive right into it. So we've got some new things here. We have, if we go to, oh, here it is, viewpoints. So we're probably going to actually cover that at the end, since that's a little bit easier if we have something in our scene. First, why don't we do something a little different? Rather than doing an object, let's do like a little scene. So I'm going to just quickly turn on, let's see here, the grid. Just realized the grid is now over here in the beta. To turn that on, the density there. Turn stage floor off and go here. I'm just going to make a cube. Actually, something more interesting, I think, would be a sub-D surface. Let's see. Right. All right. Please bear with me, everyone. I need to restart Gravity Sketch real quick. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. So I'm going to just go straight to sub D. And we're just going to make some mounds here. We're going to have it all kind of concentrated here. Something like that. So I'm just going to get my soft selection sphere here. Just start pulling up mounds, shifting things around. Make this green, and then I'm going to call it ground. And then I think what I want to do is start constructing like an interesting sort of compositional scene here. Let's see. Just gonna bust a hole in this. One more hole here. Let's also quickly change the environment to something a little more natural looking. Let's make this. Let's make it so this mound is maybe like a little bit more up on this thing. And then I'm just going to insert that. Okay, there we go. Create this, there we go. And I'm really just trying to create object here. So if we take this, smooth it, oops. create another subdivision here. Let's see about that. Why don't we do it this way? And then we've got that. And set just a little more. And then we're going to grab the whole loop and shrink it in. I know I probably need to describe what I'm making here, but essentially I'm just trying to do like a little environment piece. And then we're going to change the color of that to something else. And then what we can do is take Revolve tool, put it in the center of this object. Take our stroke tool, turn on the symmetry here. I don't know, something kind of interesting like that. And then let's just try and get some scale here so we can bring in some people. And I'm thinking probably that's probably a good size. Here. Just doing some positioning. Just trying to put together a little quick scene for all of you. And then we can start getting more into some of these tools specifically. So we got a bunch of people here, we got an object. And so this will zoom out our scene. And then why don't we try and get some other debris in here? So let's get like some cubes. And then I'm actually just going to convert that to sub D. Make it like kind of small. Change the shape of it. Maybe you can kind of scatter these all about. Create a little composition here. And can maybe even delete some of these faces. And we'll take our Revolve tool. We'll select that, line that back up. We're just going to create some Revolve shapes and shrink those down. There we go. And then I'm just going to take my stroke tool. Going to turn off the Revolve, so I just want to manually sketch some stuff here. Just trying to get the effect of that this is like a broken down sort of object. Very simple. So you can really start building a composition here, but I just wanted to build something out for all of you. So, one of the new tools that it's more of an update that we've added is on the rotate tool. There is a little button here called Snap. And this is something that people have been asking for, and we've actually implemented it, where you can snap rotate objects. So it will snap them to a 15 degree increments. So as you can see, it's 45 to 60, 75, and so on. So it'll snap to a increment here. So you can actually get 90-degree snaps. Before you had to really eyeball it and have a sensitive hand, but now we have the ability to snap. So I can take this person and snap him to a specific position that I want him to be in. So that's an update that we've given to the rotate tool. Many have asked what this tool does. Actually, a perfect example right now is actually reversing the normals. So as you can see here, the normals on our sub D ground are reversed. And so this means when we import it, say, into Blender or any other program, the normals are going to be all off. So we just take this tool, we intersect it with the ground, click it, and now we have our normals on the correct side. So, and if you come down here to the bottom, you'll see. So how you can tell if your normals are displaying correctly is the outside should have the color, and the inside of the surface, quote unquote inside of the surface, should be transparent. So that's just a nice little tip for using the normals tool, reverse normals tool. Let's see here. Running through. So this is a great time to show you how to use viewpoints. So how you can use viewpoints is if you look at your tools menu, all the way at the bottom, you'll see viewpoints indicated by a head with a little VR goggle on it. If you click that, you are now in viewpoints mode, and how you add a viewpoint is you just use your index finger trigger, and it's much like you have like the screenshot camera in your hand. So I'm holding it right now, I just let go, and now I've placed it where I want it to be. If I try and move it, it's just going to snap to where I originally created it. So if you actually want to move the camera, then you will need to grab it and then just go into edit mode. And then you can actually position it where you want it to be. So we can get like a real cinematic composition here, adjust our viewing, adjust our field of view, things like that, and really get down to something interesting. So we can get it down here. We can even take a screenshot, so we can click that and then it'll take a screenshot. But essentially we're done, and that view is saved. So we can come all the way over here, create another view. We can focus on some of these people climbing up to see this thing. And there we go, got another view saved. We can have another view up here, looking straight down. Maybe this is pretty cropped in too. Something like that. And so now we've got these multiple views in our scene, and what's really cool is we can now just cycle through them like this. So if I take my joystick and I just move left or right, I can cycle through these views in my scene. I can also, when I'm in edit mode, I can also change the name. So I can change it to right side. Let's see. And bam, we've got our right side view. And so this is a really great way to bring people to specific parts of your sketch and show them areas to focus on and look at. Eventually, I think we would like to add annotations and notes so that this can be a review tool as well, where someone can come in and look at some notes, maybe even make comments, things like that. If we go down to the viewpoints, now you will see each camera that we created, and so you can actually go to each one by clicking them here as well, and it'll show you a little preview on your controller what the camera view looks like. I think also we would like to eventually implement this so that when you save your sketches and you look at them in Landing Pad, you will also see the viewpoints in Landing Pad as well. Further, just pushing towards that benefit of reviewing a model and looking at specific parts of it. It just makes it easier to navigate around. Let's see here. So another great feature that we've added is this is actually something that's been in the program, but not many have known about it. And so essentially it's the group editing. And so say I have this group of, well, how about this? Why don't we do this first? Let's move this to the center of the scene. Sort of mirrored right there. And say we want to mirror these on the other side. We can grab all of these objects and we will hold the edit button. So not click it, but hold it. And this will bring you into an edit mode that makes all of the points available. And this works for also surfaces as well. So if you have surfaces, strokes, volume tool objects, and you can edit them all at the same time. So I'll show you that. So if I just take our volume tool here, got a volume object, and then we also have a surface. And if I just select all of those, go and hold the edit mode button, I can edit all of those points at the same time. I want to go into a group here, hold that, and if I click mirror, it should be mirrored on the other side. We can't see it because it's down under the ground here. I'll just check that, and I can move it up. But we do have that mirrored now. So maybe we could do some sort of cool platform thing here. So we have those mirrored. And then what we can do is hold edit mode again. We can then bake the mirrored points all at the same time. So now it's all baked in, all in one action. Before, you would have to go in and bake each stroke's mirror or turn off and on the mirror of each individual stroke, which just take so much time. But now it's been simplified to just one tool or one function. Let's see here. And so that's been basically added in just from all of your feedback and letting us know what you guys want. So we really do listen to the feedback from the community because we're always looking for ways to improve Gravity Sketch, make it relevant to the people that are using it, not just make any improvement or any new feature, but features that are targeted at what people want to use and what people need in their workflow, when they're creating. So thank you all for your feedback, and please do not stop. We definitely absorb all of it. So I'm just going to double check some questions here really quick because I know I've shown a few things. Let's see here, minimize that. Let's see. Hey, Greg Johnson. Yeah, loop cut was not working for me either. I'm sure that's some sort of bug. So if anybody from the product team is listening, I think maybe we want to check into loop cut. Let's see, are you guys considering animation tools? It's definitely something that we've talked about. And so we definitely are looking into that. And we might be implementing some things, who knows? So stay tuned. There's no promises on that, but we're definitely very interested in that. I'm gonna make this. Just looking down here. Does the snap have haptic? I actually don't believe it does, but let me just double check that. The snap does not have haptic, it doesn't look like, and I believe my haptics are on. Yeah, full haptics are on. So, does not have haptic. Let's see. Calvin Kin, you're asking what happened to your orthographic mode. Are you referring to the orthographic viewport down here? If you're referring to the orthographic viewport at the bottom, that is only available on the Oculus Rift. It's not currently available on the Quest because it just requires too much computing power. So it's not on the Quest. So if you have Quest, that's why, or if you just recently got it. If you're using Rift and you're connected to a desktop and you don't have orthographic viewport, I would send an email to support@gravitysketch.com and they'll get you sorted out because that should not be the case. You should have access to orthographic viewport if you're using a Rift S system or any other tethered headset system to a computer. Quest does not support orthographic viewport. Let's see. Several of these, the new features are available on Quest as well. So some of you have been asking about that. The new features are available on Quest. Calvin Kim, you say you're using Oculus Quest 2 Rift. So that does not exist. So you either have a Quest or you have a Rift. If you have a Rift S, then you should have orthographic viewport. If you have a Quest 2, then you do not have orthographic viewport just because it's a mobile device. However, I will say to anybody else listening too, if you do have a Quest and you also have a computer that supports VR, you can use Oculus's beta link function. Basically, you can connect your headset using a USB-C cable to your desktop, and Oculus will detect this and ask you, do you want to use link? And then you can say yes, and then basically you use the power of your desktop instead of the power of the headset itself to use Gravity Sketch. And then in that case, you would be able to use the orthographic viewport on Quest 2. But it's really just using your Quest as a display at that point. You know, it's not really actually using the computing power of the Quest. So I hope that clears that up. But yeah, so another feature here is called Minimap. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to create sort of a scene like this, is that we could see the full benefit of it. So Minimap really just basically zooms out your entire sketch into a little blue box in front of you. And then anywhere in this box you can click and it will zoom you to that point. So I can zoom over here, I can hold the button again, it'll zoom me out. I can click here and it will zoom me to that location. So it's really just a quick way to navigate to different areas of your sketch and view them that way. So here, you can zoom this, make this full size. So yeah, this is pretty big, and so that's one of the benefits of being in VR. Being in VR is looking at things full scale. So let's see. So some other new stuff. See here. Okay. All right. So another new thing that we've added, or rather another improvement, I would say actually. Say we wanted this human positioned exactly the way they were, but we want to scale them up. So what we would do is we would align our controllers like we're going to move someone along an axis, and we would just scale, and that way they stay in their orientation. So we can scale them and they won't rotate, they will be snapped to that orientation as we scale them. So we can scale them up and say maybe there's a giant in our midst, in our group, we can make them slightly larger. So that's a new improvement on the scaling in Gravity Sketch. And then I also want to cover the new export menu. So there's some improvements on that as well. If we go over here to the export menu here, very similar to Minimap, it will zoom out your entire sketch into a little blue box, and you can actually see dimensions around your sketch, showing you how big it is. And you can actually actively change between different units, millimeters, centimeters, and so on, as well as choosing between FBX, IGIS. But another cool, a new thing that we've added actually is the recalculate center. So if I just go back, I can recalculate center, and it will take this entire box and basically center it in the world axis. So if you have a bunch of sketches everywhere and maybe everything's over here in this quadrant of your of your scene, it will take the average midpoint of that entire sketch and move it to the center, which is really, really helpful. We can also take our move tool, which basically is the same as the regular move tool. It's just been brought here to the export menu, and we can actually manually position where we want our sketch to be located, where we want our sketch to be upon export. And so this is super helpful if you just want to make sure everything is in your scene correctly aligned, and just makes it really simple. We also have some options here in our advanced options menu where we can choose between double, single-sided, single-sided for real-time rendering, welded for modeling, and then sub-D mesh, smooth, or base, which is basically the control mesh option. And we have a number of options for FBX, including double, single welded, base, and then NURBS data along with the FBX. So there's all sorts of options here. We can change the mirror plane, which plane it's on. And that's pretty much it for the export menu. And then you just name it and export it. And so it's really just a menu to show you exactly what are you looking at dimensionality wise when you're exporting. So that is a super useful function as well. Let me see if I'm missing anything. I want to just double check. Here. Oh yeah, definitely a big one that I wanted to cover is our updated sub-D menu here. So say we wanted to do, we have our crease tool, we have our loop cut, edge cut, all these types of things. Our sub-D menu is no longer a little table that pops up and you have to grab the tool and then use it. It's just a quick action button where you just hold down this little hammer and paintbrush, and you just simply hover your controller left or right. And once you have it under the tool that you want to use, then you just let go, and now that's the tool you're using. So I can just take this, I can crease this edge here, and then if I want to switch to cut tool, I can take the cut tool here and cut. Smooth tool obviously will allow me to smooth, and so on. So it's just a really, really quick way to access all the sub-D tools in the sub-D tool menu. So it's much faster. And another issue that we were having when people were using the tool was that when they would grab the sub-D tool, they would forget that they grabbed it, or they forget where they placed it. Maybe it was behind them, and then they can't do anything else because they haven't gotten rid of the sub-D tool that they were holding, and they just let go, and now it's just floating in space somewhere. So now with the new menu, all the tools are just here, and your tooltip just becomes, your controller just becomes that tooltip. So it's really, really a little bit more foolproof and just easier to use, faster, and everything. Let's see, loop cut's working here, but it wasn't working for move 4, so I don't know if it was the geometry I was using or what. But let's double check and see, make sure I'm covering everything. Oh yeah, we've got one more thing I'd like to show all of you, and it's just another improvement. It basically is the normals on our strokes. So say we've got, I'm going to make this really big, change it to a sphere. Run it all the way down here. Off the map. So we'll just do that, right? So say that's what we want our design to look like. And so you might notice there's some weird stuff going on here, twisting around some twisting around the stroke. Some of you may know that you have the ability to change the basically the normals or the twisting of the object, and with these arrows. But one thing that we've added is this stripe that runs along our strokes to show us exactly how much is twisting, where it's twisting, where the normals are. And so we can actually use that as a visual reference to loosen that tension in our geometry. So if we take this, we can take our stroke and see now we don't have any more twisting. Take that up, but make sure that everything is properly aligned there. So now we don't have any more twisting, and it looks nice and clean and smooth. And it's really helpful for cylindrical strokes like this, because it's really hard to see the faces of the stroke. It's a little easier to see how, say like this square stroke is twisting, because you can see that twist very, very visibly. And so if we just take, our arrows, we can adjust it the way it needs to be correctly. And so that's one of the other improvements that we've given is stroke normals. But that about covers all the new, most of the new features. I'm just going to mess with this environment here. Let's see. And then yeah, so I just want to thank everybody for watching. I'm going to just double check some of the questions here before we sort of wrap it up, but let's see here. Let's check some of these. Just looking through some of your questions. Let's see. Ryan Wood, you're asking if there is a smooth tool. I'm not sure if I know what you mean other than the sub-D smoothing tool, which is, you can find it in the sub-D tool menu. So if you just hold down the button here, you can navigate all the way to the left, and that is your smooth tool. You can grow it in size by pressing up and down your joystick, and that will smooth out your points on the sub-D surface. So that's what we have in regards to smoothing. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, but just not sure. So one thing we can do is we can lock this layer, create a new layer. I'm going to hide it so everything I put inside of it disappears. so that we know we've put it in there. Should grab that. Put there. Just changing up the composition a little bit. And then we can turn all those on. And then I will, so I want some of the ground to be going into this object. I think it looks cooler. Then we get some of that debris up there. It looks a lot better. That in there. And we're just going to color all these the same color. Make sure it's blending in. So we got ourselves a little interesting composition here, and then I'm just going to unlock that. So we want our people back. And then we just want to update this curve. And so yeah. Now we can take a screenshot of this scene here. We've got a really cool composition. And why don't we grab our, we can change the light. So the cool thing is that if you have the flashlight out in your scene, and you didn't get rid of it, and you go in your screenshot mode, you can actually move the light around and change the lighting that you want for your scene. So maybe you want this more kind of shadow lighting, and then again we have like more of a kind of a direct light. Catching some of the light. That person. And then we can just play around with the different, sort of the different lighting conditions here. We can also try like a if I go here to the sky, got like more orange sunset. Actually want to change the there we go. Something like that. maybe another angle here. But that just about wraps it up. I just want to thank everybody for watching, and I hope you learned how to use some of the new features. We've also released a trailer and a tutorial, actually a full-length tutorial on how to use each of these new features, and we'll be linking to that in the description of this. So if you want to go and review that, feel free to go watch. Also, if you just want to watch this, I mean, this will be available, the live stream will be available as soon as it's over as well. I think you can actually rewind even while it's still going. So there's plenty of content. And then in the lobby, we have like a little preview of a lot of the new features there. But I just want to double check and make sure I didn't miss any new features. Let's see here. Some people are asking, is this available now? Yes, all of this is available now. So if you just go and log into Gravity Sketch and you open it up, you will see a prompt. Well, if you open up Oculus or Steam, you'll see a prompt to update. So you'll get that update, and then you'll be right on your way. Just gonna try and get a better angle here for a screenshot. There we go. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that about covers it. So I just want to thank everybody once more for your support and for your feedback. We love listening to all of your feedback and hearing what you all would like to see in Gravity Sketch. This really is a tool for all of you out there. So it's all welcome. But I just want to thank you all again, and have a great rest of your week. We will be interviewing Eric Stoddard tomorrow, so feel free to make sure to tune in and listen on that. That'll be at 1 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. It could change, but it's fairly locked in, I would say. And then we are trying to do more of these live sketches every week. So we do actually want to do 2 of these live sketch sessions a week. So we'll continue to do these ones on Wednesdays, and then we would like to start doing some live sketch sessions a little bit earlier in the day on Tuesdays. So if you find that this time doesn't really work for you, or this day, we'll be doing them on Tuesdays as well, and you can hop on. And then of course, if you miss it, somehow you just can't see it live, they will be available after we've gone live. So that's just some of the things that we're doing on YouTube very soon. So I just want to thank everybody again. Please ask any questions in the comments, and we'll answer your questions about the new updates. If you have any issues with the new update from Gravity Sketch, just send an email to support@gravitysketch.com, and they'll get you sorted out. And thank you, everybody, and have a great rest of your week.